Welcome back to the Hillbilly RV channel. I am sorry. I don't know what happened, but I lost the audio on the first part of this video. And I wanted to salvage the video, so I'm going to do a voiceover. Probably nobody is going to watch this because as soon as they start watching it and it's a voiceover, it looks like a bad Japanese B movie, the voices the voices don't match the mouth movements. But anywho, today we are working on this motorhome here. It's got a few issues. The first one we're going to work on here is the propane system. This is one of those RVs that has the now I'm getting a little ahead of myself a little bit here. It has the LP leak detector that hooks to the solenoid, which I'm getting ready to show you here. Right there it is. What's supposed to do is if it detects a leak inside the motorhome, an LP leak, it should shut the solenoid off and shut the flow of gas off. Okay, I looked at this a couple weeks before and I checked power and ground there at that solenoid. Had good power and ground, but we just had no gas flow. And I said, well, it's got to be a bad solenoid. So I ordered a solenoid, and then today I came back to install the solenoid and do some other things. But like I said, we're going to start here on the solenoid, and as soon as I get my big old hand out of the way. First thing I'm going to do is unhook the flexible propane line after the solenoid and just make sure that truly there is no gas coming out of the system, because I don't know whether there could be something wrong with the propane line, that flexible one. I've seen that happen before. The flexible line just go bad, collapse inside or whatever, and stop flowing gas. So we're going to take that line loose, and what we're going to find is that truly there is no gas coming through this system. It's just as simple as that. There's the new solenoid that I bought. But yeah, I'm gonna take that propane line off, and there is truly no gas coming through the system at all. So now that I have verified that there is no gas coming from the tank through the pressure regulator and through the solenoid, what I'm going to do is just take that whole apparatus off now and take it to the back of the truck, and we're going to test it and see if I can make it work on the back of the truck. It's just as simple as applying a 12-volt power and ground to that solenoid. And when you do that, solenoid has a very noticeable click, and it opens. And when it opens, stuff should flow through. So here I've got the solenoid that I just took off the motorhome on the back of the truck, and I'm going to apply 12-volt DC power and ground to the solenoid. And what you can't hear, because I lost my audio, is click, big click. It opened. All right. When I take the power away, click, it closes. Big click, thud. You can feel it as well as hear it. So the solenoid appears to be working just fine. It's not letting any gas through. So let's do some further investigating and see if we can figure out what is going on here. So since the solenoid sounds like it's working, I'm wondering if maybe the regulator, something's going on in the regulator. That's kind of where I'm leaning right now, and but let's do some other investigating somewhere else also. So I just went ahead and took the solenoid off, of the past the regulator, hooked my 12-volt power and ground up to it again. Click, it opens. right here, it opens. I can blow through it. I take the power away and I can't blow through it. So there is nothing wrong with this solenoid at all. It's working perfectly. So now what's going on? Let's start looking at different things. So I brought just the solenoid back over to the motorhome, plugged it in, and still nothing, no click. I'm going to check the voltage again. I've already done this before, but I'm going to do it again, and you will see that I am getting power and ground here. Right now I'm really scratching my head. I'm like, what on earth is going on here? So I'm just probing the wires coming out of the motorhome, which I assume are coming from the LP leak detector to power this solenoid. I'm going to show you the meter. As soon as I pick it up, 12.3. That's more than enough to open that solenoid. So what on earth is going on here? Let's keep looking. So I plugged the solenoid back into the motorhome, and now I'm checking power and ground while it's hooked up. And this is going to be a real shocker. 2.1 volts. Well, that ain't enough. That ain't going to open that solenoid. What on earth is going on? I still don't know. So actually, I'm so frustrated at this point that I'm actually going to stop working on the propane system for a little while and start working on an electrical issue that I have to work on as well. So let's change gears and let's ponder on the propane thing for a little bit, and then let's start looking at the 110 volt AC problem that we're having on this motorhome also. Alright, so let's move on to the AC power problem. The water heater and the refrigerator is in this kitchen slide. The refrigerator, both those outlets have no power on them, zero power. And the water heater, every time you flip the breaker on in the this power distribution panel for it, it kicks a breaker inside the building, the 50 amp breaker. So there's a dead short in the water heater wire somewhere, and there's a short, an open in the refrigerator wires. So yeah, the AC in this slide room is having lots and lots of issues. So I'm going to go inside here in a minute, show you what I'm working with, where I'm working, and it's not good, people. It's just not good. Alright, so I'm in the floor of the slide here. I figured out that they're using stranded wire. Comes out of the coach, up in the slide, over here, goes in these boxes. Now what I found was this little box on the left is the power for the water heater. This one here is for the refrigerator and outlets in the coach, or in the slide out. Well, they had somebody put a wire across those two boxes and just screwed the lids on. So that wire was smashed pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is see if that has changed anything now that I've taken the pressure off that wire. Let's just see if it's changed anything. The microwave is in the slide. It has power. It has never had an issue. Let's see here. Coffee maker's plugged up over there. See if there's any outlets. Here's an outlet in the slide. See if it has any power. It's Velcroed. Yeah, that outlet has power. So the refrigerator outlets don't have power, and the water heater has a short. Now I wonder if we just took care of that short, because those wires were smashed pretty hard. I may go back here and throw the breaker on that water heater just to see. Let's see if it's restored our power up here. No, of course not. Why would it, right? Yeah, nothing. Getting no lights on my tester here. And as far as the solenoid goes, I mean, apparently that wire is damaged somewhere. Where? I mean, Lord only knows. I'm not going to be pulling a new wire through this coach for that. But I am going to pull the LP leak detector out of the wall. Just make sure everything looks kosher there. Make sure, you know, a mouse hasn't chewed a wire almost all the way through or something. So when I have more news, I'll be back. This is a stupid video. I don't even know why y'all watch my videos. Yeah, everything I did got more frustrating, more confusing, and more stupid. So I quit filming. I quit videoing. So let me see if I can explain to you what was going on. We're going to start with the electric and the slide, and then we'll get to the gas. I'll tell you everything I found, okay? So, what I found was your power distribution panel in the coach had 4 wires coming out of it, going through the floor, up into the slide. So the slide and the floor move, you know. You had one going to the water heater. You had one going to the kitchen outlets. You had one going to the microwave, one going to the refrigerator outlet. Okay, so for whatever reason, some of these are dead. Two out of the 4 were dead. Okay, the water heater one, dead. The refrigerator one, dead. The microwave and the kitchen outlets were okay. What they had done, which just blew my mind, trying to get that, it's hard to get this close enough without getting that glare. For whatever reason, they had gone, these boxes were side by side. They did have like a jumper wire between these 2 boxes. All right, so they had come over here and found the refrigerator circuit, which was dead. So they tied into it, run a jumper wire over here to the electric side of the water heater, tried to make the 110 volt element work on water heater. Well, they tied it into a dead circuit. Wasn't working. But they did just run that jumper wire across there. I think y'all saw it. And just screwed the lids down to it. So I thought, hey, I found the short. But no, didn't find the short. And didn't really find the open either. What I ended up doing was, they didn't have anything plugged into the kitchen outlets at all. So I took the kitchen outlets and tied them in with the refrigerator to make the refrigerator work on electric. The microwave, I left it alone. The water heater, left it alone. I told the people, you know, rather than, you know, run new wires all the way from the power distribution panel up in here, which I think would have been nearly impossible to do on site. I said, let's see if we can get the gas working, which I felt sure we could, and let's just run the water heater on gas. And they're like, we're perfectly okay with that. As long as the fridge works, our outlets work, our microwave works, we're cool with running the water heater on gas. So does any of that make sense? because I had a hard time. I mean, there's a lot of stuff stuffed in that 4x4 box, shallow box. That was a nightmare. And this jumper wire, it's just stupid. All right, so let me erase this. Y'all got this? You done taking notes? Let me erase this. Let me show you what we found with the propane. It was even worse than this. Okay, so the solenoid on the propane line. Okay, its function is it's supposed to be tied to the LP leak detector, and if the detector detects a leak, it shuts the solenoid off. Okay, that's its only function. As far as my experience, a very small percentage of RVs even have this solenoid. They all have a LP leak detector. Most don't work. Some, or not, it's not most. Some don't work. People have unhooked them because they chirp and carry on or go off when they're not supposed to. So a lot of people just unhook them. They live dangerous. I get that. But like I say, in my experience, probably 95% of the RVs don't have this solenoid. I'm talking motorhomes. I've never seen one on a travel trailer, to be honest with you, but even just a small percentage of the motorhomes have this solenoid. So let me show you what we found. I'm pretty sure on the video we found that the wires going to the solenoid, as long as they weren't hooked to the solenoid, had 12-volt power and ground. Okay, as soon as you hook the solenoid up, you get power across those, and you have, what was it, 1.5 volts. So what I done, I went up in the coach and pulled the LP leak detector out of the hole. It was a flush mount. Some dude, right after they bought the motorhome, or maybe the dealer they bought it from, put a new LP leak detector in this motorhome. And if the LP leak detector is going to run a solenoid, there's at least 3 and sometimes 4 wires that come out of that leak detector. You got your positive and your negative out of the coach, and then you've got either 1 or 2 wires that go to the solenoid. I think a lot of them just have 1 wire. So one side of the solenoid will be grounded, and then you're going to have a positive wire coming out of the leak detector to the solenoid to open and close it. Open it, and then if the power goes away, whether it's a failure or whether the leak detector detects a leak, the power goes away, the solenoid shuts off the gas. So what we did, we just made it like most of the RVs that I see. We ended up just taking solenoid out because this had the wrong LP leak detector. I don't know what happened to the extra wire. I just don't know. I think we had a yellow wire up here coming out of the coach and another color. I don't remember, maybe white. The yellow wire probably went down to the LP leak detector because there was a yellow wire on it. And I think they were using the leak detector, or the solenoid, as a ground for the leak detector. Because, funny thing is, the leak detector doesn't even work. It says on the front of it, it's got an LED light. It said green light's all good. Red light was, a leak detected, and it may have said something else. But the little green light flashed very slowly, maybe flashed every 2-3 seconds. And I don't even think it was working. I tried to set it off with a propane torch. I couldn't set it off. So I told the folks, look, you either need to buy, well, I don't even know if buying a leak detector would do them any good, because I'm not sure the ground wire is good. But anywho, I said, you got to at least buy some battery operated LP leak detectors, and CO detectors. I think they come together, and put in this motorhome. So she was cool with that. She understood, because like I say, what we done was took it from one that automatically, if it detects a leak, it automatically shuts the gas off, to, like most of them that we see, if the LP leak detector goes off, it senses a leak, you got to run around and physically cut the gas off. That's the way most of them are anyway. So they're cool with that. Apparently it is not any kind of code, because like I say, most of them I see don't even have the solenoid, or it's been deleted already before I ever get to it. So that did get our gas going, which made the water heater work fine on gas. Everything else worked good on gas. The refrigerator switched from auto to gas, or from electric to gas on auto. Everything was good. So like I said, when we got done, she was happy. Everything that she wanted to work worked, and life goes on. Why don't y'all get on with your life and get down there and leave me a comment, a criticism, concern, or maybe even a hallucination. I don't know. Some of y'all are a little strange. But anywho, that's in remembrance of Cameron. I miss old Cameron. Yeah, that's all I got for this one. I am at home. I am not going to go work on another one. Y'all have a fantastic day.